to medical school at University of Miami, and at the time there was no physical medicine and rehabilitation program there. So I was really still at the end of medical school searching for something that really spoke to me to do. And I'd always been involved in sports, and I'd always been involved in physical activities, and there was just something that spoke to me about rehab, about the functional component of it, of getting people that had hurt themselves or that were injured really severely, getting them back to a really high quality of life. That really resonated with me. And then I did a away rotation at NYU, and I just met so many neat patients and so many neat scenarios, and it felt like something I wanted to spend my life doing.
One of the things that really drew me to it was the people who I met just seemed so happy and passionate about their field. In fact, one of my best friends from residency, actually she said that she picked rehab because she used to ask attendings and residents and fellows in the different fields that she rotated through, if you had to do this again, would you pick the same field? And then she said when she got to her rehab rotation, she couldn't find a single physiatrist who said that they would do something different. One of the things that we pick when we pick a specialty is not just the area of medicine that we're going to practice, but also we're choosing who our colleagues are going to be for the next 30 or 40 years that we're in practice. And that's really certainly one of the draws, I think, for rehab medicine.
I met an intern who was doing her intern year, and she was telling me about what the field entailed. My med school had no physical medicine rehabilitation department, so my first elective actually my first month of that last year of medical school was an away rotation in physical medicine rehabilitation, and from there, what I saw, I loved it. It was actually something that I envisioned myself being able to do every day of my life.
I remember the first exposure that I had at NYU was with patients with spinal cord injury, which was something I hadn't really been exposed to in medical school. And I thought there was just something very fundamentally good about the physicians that were taking care of those patients, that it was really kind of shepherding through them the most difficult time in their lives and bringing them to a place where they could be well again, and they could live a great life. I think that one of the best things about the field, and this is one of the reasons why I chose this rather than a surgical field, was the ability to spend time with patients and to really get to know them and really get to know their families. And it's more than just the 10-minute consultation. It's thinking for the long term. What's going to be the best for this patient? What's going to be the best for their family? What's going to be the thing that gives them the most joy over the course of their lives? And sometimes that's medical, and it involves medications and injections, and sometimes it does involve consultations to surgery. But a lot of times it involves getting the patient to rehabilitate themselves, to get well on their own, to invest in their own health. And I think that's just fundamentally wonderful about the field.
Like in medical school, you're exposed to surgery, and actually I can distinctly remember a surgery rotation in which a patient was getting an amputation. And everybody's very excited about cutting off the leg and all this kind of gory detail, and I really didn't care that much about that. I cared much more about her function, her functional restoration, which goes hand in hand with what rehabilitation medicine is all about.
There are times when I may put in a long day at the office and see lots of patients and really go home with just as much energy as I came in with. Just feeling like that was a day of hard work, but it feels great that I was able to make a difference for some patients.